Okay, so you want to know what went down in that Delhi versus Lucknow match on March 24th, 2025, but you don't want to wade through every single detail.
Right.
Think of this as like a fast track to the highlights, to the really important moments that kind of define the match.
Yeah, we're going to skip all the boring stuff and get right to the heart of what made this game so exciting, so unpredictable, and really so captivating.
So let's set the scene right. Imagine this. Visakhapatnam, this beautiful coastal city in India. You've got the Bay of Bengal sparkling on one side and these ancient hills, the Eastern Ghats, rising up on the other side. And right in the middle of all this is the Dr. Y.S. Rajasekhar Reddy ACA VDCA Cricket Stadium.
And it was packed.
Packed. Yeah, 25,000 fans, a sea of blue and green, all buzzing with anticipation. You could just feel the electricity in the air. And it wasn't just because of the beautiful setting either. The early part of the IPL season had already seen some incredible matches, high scores, last ball finishes. This game between Delhi playing their second home game in Vizag and Lucknow trying to find their footing, well, it had all the makings of another classic.
And you had this really interesting subplot, too, right? Axar Patel leading the Delhi Capitals, trying to establish a stronghold in their adopted home. But all eyes were really on Rishabh Pant captaining Lucknow.
Yeah.
That big money transfer from Delhi just a few months before, a 27 crore rupee deal that really added a whole other layer to this.
Yes, it was like Pant was going up against his old team, his old friends. It was personal.
Definitely added an edge to it.
Both teams had kind of similar seasons in 2024 mid-table finishes. So you knew they were both desperate to start 2025 with a bang. Delhi had made some big signings. Faf du Plessis brought in all his experience, and then there was Mitchell Stark. That 11-core acquisition seemed like a bargain to a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that was a steal.
Lucknow, of course, had Pant leading the charge. But it's worth noting, they were without KL Rahul for this game. His wife was expecting their first child, and he was understandably with her.
Yeah, I think that was big news at the time.
It was. It was all over the media. And, the pre-match buzz online was fascinating. Everyone was talking about this Pant versus Delhi storyline, the emotional side of it. But there was also this feeling that Lucknow's batting lineup, on paper at least, looked capable of just blowing Delhi away.
They had so much firepower.
They did. They really did. And then VVS Laxman delivered his pitch report, and it just fueled that expectation even more. He described this pitch as a batsman's dream, flat, true bounce. The ball would come onto the bat beautifully, especially under the lights. He hinted that we might see a much higher score than the average at the venue.
Yeah, I think the average score at the ground was around 170-something.
Right. But everyone was expecting something much bigger. And crucially, he mentioned the dew factor, the possibility of dew later in the evening, which, as we know, can be a huge factor in a captain's decision at the toss.
Absolutely. Changes the game completely.
And that dew factor was definitely on Axar's mind when he won the toss. He chose to bowl first without any hesitation. He knew chasing under lights with a wet ball could be a nightmare for his bowlers.
Yeah, very smart move.
Pant, in his post-toss interview, said he would probably bowl first as well, but he seemed up for the challenge.
Yeah, he seemed ready to put a big score on the board.
All right, so let's talk lineups. Delhi went with a mix of young guns and experienced veterans. You had Fraser McGurk, du Plessis Perel behind the stumps, Rizvi Axar himself, Stubbs Nigam making his debut.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of excitement about Nigam.
There was. The returning Stark, Kuldeep, Mohit Sharma, and Mukesh Kumar. A really interesting mix.
And Lucknow came back with a seriously strong batting lineup. Markram and Marsh opening, followed by Pooran, the explosive Pooran, then Badoni captain Pant, the veteran Miller.
And then another debutant in Prince Yadav.
That's right.
Rathi Shavastakar and Bishnoi to provide the spin threat. Just looking at those two teams, you could see why everyone was predicting a run fest.
Definitely.
So the first over, Stark bowling to Markram, you could just feel the tension. Stark back in the IPL after such a long time. Started with 4 dot balls, putting the pressure straight on the Lucknow opener.
Yeah, it looked like Delhi might just get off to the perfect start.
But then the 5th ball, Mitchell Marsh, who was playing as a specialist batsman in this game, apparently had a slight back issue. We heard that from the commentators. He just casually flicked Stark off his pads, and the ball sailed over the square leg boundary for 6.
What a shot.
It was a statement.
Yeah.
It was like he was saying to Delhi, we're not here to mess around.
Yeah, he shifted the momentum in an instant.
He did. And he didn't let up. He went after Mukesh Kumar in the 2nd over, hit him for a couple of boundaries, and even when Axar brought himself on to bowl spin in the 4th over, Marsh launched him for another huge 6.
He was in the zone?
He was seeing the ball like a grapefruit.
Delhi did get a breakthrough when Nigam on his debut got Markram to miscue a shot.
Yeah, caught by Stark.
But even with that wicket, Marsh just kept going. By the end of the power play, he'd raced to 43 runs off 19 balls, his highest ever power play score in the IPL.
He was on fire. Absolutely on fire. And then Nicholas Pooran came in, and the scoring rate went through the roof. Pooran is such a destructive batsman, and he showed exactly why. In the 7th over, he took on Mohit Sharma, 6-4, 3 boundaries in a row. Just like that Delhi, we're on the back foot again.
Yeah, Pooran can change a game in the blink of an eye.
He can. And Marsh kept going, too. He brought up his 50 in just 21 balls with another massive 6 off Nigam. This one apparently cleared the whole stadium.
Wow.
At 92 for 1 after just 8 overs, Lucknow looked like they were going to get a monstrous total, 220, maybe even more. It seemed like a real possibility.
It did.
But this is where Axar made a really smart move. He brought on his main spinner, Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah, good move.
It proved to be a turning point. In the 10th over, Kuldeep got the breakthrough Delhi desperately needed. He got Marsh caught in the deep by Stubbs for a brilliant 72. It was a century partnership, but it was finally over.
Yeah, finally some relief for Delhi.
And then came the moment everyone was waiting for him. Rishabh Pant walked out to bat, and the crowd in Vizag went crazy. A mix of cheers and boos. It was like they didn't know whether to celebrate him or jeer him because he was playing against his old team.
Yeah, that must have been strange for him.
It must have been. And his Lucknow debut, well, didn't last long. First ball, he got caught by du Plessis off Kuldeep. A golden duck against his old team. You couldn't have written a more dramatic script.
Or a more disappointing one for Pant.
Exactly. So in the space of just a couple of overs, Lucknow had gone from 101 for 1 to 117 for 3.
Talk about a momentum swing.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
But just when it looked like Delhi were back in the game, they made a costly mistake in the field. Pooran on 17, he got dropped by Samir Rizvi at backward point.
Oh, that's a killer.
There's a real let-off for Lucknow. And, of course, Pooran made them pay. In the very next over, bowled by Stubbs, he just went berserk.
4 sixes in a row.
Okay.
A 28-run over that swung the momentum right back to Lucknow.
He really punished them for that dropped catch.
He did. And in the process, he reached his 50 off just 24 balls. He was unstoppable. And then David Miller came in and steadied the ship with Pooran. They put together another big partnership, and Miller hit a couple of sixes off Mohit Sharma in the 15th over to take Lucknow to 176 for 4. They were on course for a huge score.
220 was looking very likely at that point.
It was. But then Stark came back into the attack and got Pooran out for a brilliant 75. And that wicket triggered a collapse. From 176 for 4, Lucknow stumbled to 209 for 8 at the end of their 20 overs. Miller was left unbeaten, but Delhi's bowlers did a good job to restrict them in those last few overs, especially Stark.
Yeah, Stark finished with 3 for 42.
And Kuldeep picked up 2 for 20.
Mm-hmm.
So 209 to chase in a T20 game. It's a big ask, but it's not impossible.
Definitely not impossible.
But Delhi's chase got off to the worst possible start. Fraser McGurk and du Plessis came out to face Shardul Thakur playing for Lucknow now.
Yeah.
And Tucker, well, he had a dream start. First ball, he got Fraser McGurk to edge one to Pant for a duck. And then next ball, he got Porel nicking off as well. 2 wickets in 2 balls. Delhi were 2 for 2 after 1 over. It was a disaster.
You couldn't have imagined a worse start for them.
You couldn't. So du Plessis and Axar were left with this huge task of rebuilding the innings. They showed some fight, though. Du Plessis hit Bishnoi for a 6. Axar got a boundary off Rathi, but the required run rate was climbing all the time.
Yeah, the pressure was building.
It was.
Yeah.
And then Rathi, the debutant, he struck again. He got Axar LDW for 22. And then a few overs later, du Plessis mistimed a shot off Prince Yadav and was caught by Marsh. At 65 for 5 in the 9th over, Delhi were in deep trouble.
It looked like game over for them at that stage.
It did. Stubbs came in to join Rizvi, and the required run rate was just getting higher and higher.
A mountain decline.
It was. At that point, Delhi brought on Ashutosh Sharma as their impact sub, replacing Samir Rizvi. He came in with Delhi needing 145 runs off 66 balls. It seemed like mission impossible.
I mean, what could he do in that situation?
It looked hopeless. And then things almost got even worse for Delhi. Pooran dropped a pretty easy chance off Stubbs when he was on just 8. Bishnoi was the bowler. It was a massive let-off for Delhi.
Yeah, that dropped catch proved to be crucial.
It did. Stubbs immediately tried to make Lucknow pay. He hit Shahbaz Ahmed for 2 sixes in the 12th over. And Ashutosh Sharma showed he meant business too. He smashed Rathi for a 6-over cover. By the end of the 14th over, Delhi were 113 for 5. They still needed 97 runs off 36 balls, but there was at least a glimmer of hope.
A tiny glimmer.
It was tiny, but it was there. But then, just as it looked like that Stubbs-Ashutosh partnership was starting to build something special, M's Siddharth Lucknow's impact sub came on and bowled Stubbs with a beautiful slider. That was the end of Stubbs for 34. And at 113 for 6, the Delhi fans must have been fearing the worst.
It looked like the end for Delhi.
It did. But then Ashutosh Sharma decided to take matters into his own hands. In the 16th over, facing Prince Yadav, he just exploded. 20 runs off the over. He suddenly raised to 39, not out off just 14 balls. It was unbelievable. He was playing with such freedom, such confidence.
It was like he was a completely different player.
It was. He was fearless. And he found a great partner in Nigam, the other debutant. They kept the scoreboard moving, took the singles, found the boundaries. With 42 runs needed off the last 24 balls, the tension was incredible. And then the 18th over, bowled by Bishnoi Ashutosh, just went after him. 2 fours, a 6, 18 runs off the over.
Wow.
Suddenly, Delhi needed just 22 runs off the last 2 overs. The momentum had completely swung a minute. Incredible turnaround.
And then things got even more dramatic. Lucknow had some injury concerns. They were without Naveen Haq. So Pant had to turn to Shahbaz Ahmed to bowl the 19th over. A lot of pressure on Shahbaz.
Yeah, huge pressure.
And under that pressure, he conceded 15 runs. Ashutosh got another boundary. Nigam hit a big 6. So with 1 over left, Delhi needed just 7 runs to win. They were on the brink of an unbelievable victory.
Unbelievable.
The final over bowled by Shardul Thakur was something else. First ball, dot ball. Second ball, single. And then Ashutosh Sharma, who had reached magnificent 52 not out off 25 balls, smashed a full toss from Thakur over long on for 6 scores level. The stadium went absolutely crazy. You could feel the ground shaking.
What a moment.
It was. And then next ball, Ashutosh just calmly flicked the ball for a single. Delhi had won. They had somehow pulled off an incredible 1-wicket victory. Ashutosh Sharma with an unbeaten 58 off 27 balls, and Nigam with 20 not out off 10 had orchestrated one of the most amazing comebacks you'll ever see.
That was an IPL classic. It was. And amidst all that drama, there were these little subplots. Remember that streaker who ran onto the field during the 18th over of Delhi's chase? It was just as Ashutosh was building momentum, and you wondered if it might throw him off his game.
Yeah, it could have been a real distraction.
It could have. And then there was the reaction online to Rishabh Pant's Golden Duck. People were questioning that 27 crore price tag after he failed against his old team.
Yeah, the pressure was on him for sure.
And then there was that near run out of Pooran when he was on 23. The umpires gave him not out, but it was very close. Could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And then there was that little exchange caught on the stump mic between du Plessis and Pant after du Plessis got out. Pant said something like, "Still got your number."
Yeah, I remember that.
It just added a bit of spice to the whole thing.
But the real story of this match, the story everyone will remember, is the rise of Ashutosh Sharma. He came in with Delhi in all sorts of trouble and played an innings of pure brilliance. He went from being a relatively unknown player to Delhi's hero in the space of a few overs.
It was a performance for the ages. He deservedly won the Player of the Match award, and Axar was full of praise for him afterwards. He talked about his ice-cold veins, how calm he was under pressure. It was a remarkable innings, and even Pant had to admit that Ashutosh had stolen the win for Delhi. He was gracious in defeat.
Yeah, it was a classy response from Pant.
It was. And this game, it just shows you what T20 cricket is all about.
Yeah.
209 for 8, a great score built on those brilliant innings from Marsh and Pooran. It still wasn't enough. Delhi's bowlers did well to fight back in the later stages of Lucknow's innings, but in the end, it was Ashutosh Sharma's heroics that got Delhi over the line. It was a truly unforgettable match.
A real edge-of-your-seat thriller.
And the reaction online afterwards was amazing. People were going crazy for Ashutosh Sharma. Lots of people were saying he was the first breakout star of IPL 2025, maybe even the first legend of the tournament. It's incredible how quickly reputations can be built in this league. And from a tournament perspective, this win will give Delhi a huge boost. They showed real character, their bowlers stuck at it, and they found a potential match winner in Ashutosh. For Lucknow, it's a tough loss to take. They were in control for a long time, but they let it slip. But they've got a strong squad. They'll bounce back.
They'll learn from this.
They will. So there you have it. Our deep dive into this incredible match between Delhi and Lucknow. It just goes to show you why we love the IPL. You think you've seen it all, and then a player like Ashutosh Sharma comes along and plays an innings that defies all expectations.
And keeps you glued to your seat until the very last ball.
Exactly. That's the beauty of T20 cricket. It's unpredictable. New heroes emerge all the time.
It makes you wonder what other surprises are in store for us as the tournament goes on.
What other players will step up and make a name for themselves? Who will be the next Ashutosh Sharma?
That's the question, isn't it? That's what makes the IPL so exciting.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into one of the most talked about matches of the tournament. So stay tuned.
Can't wait.
See you then.
Bye.